You are watching. Pause. We pause for a second or two. How do we keep life coherent when so much is changing? This is episode 246, Intangible Decision Making. In life, every day, we make many decisions. We make small decisions. We make big decisions. And the sum total of all those decisions that we make constitute the foundation of our lives. Usually, when we simply talk about decision making, just decision making, without any specification as to what kind of decision making, just plain decision making. Most often, that means we are talking about material decision making. One could say we're talking about tangible decision making. The kind of decisions in life that are very easy to grasp that they in fact are decisions. Material decision making or tangible decision making could be where to live, what kind of job to have, which people to live with, what to eat, where to sleep, what to buy, what to sell, where to sit, where to stand, who to talk to, what to spend our money on, what to do with our hands, where to look. All these sort of kind of obvious decisions we make moment by moment. That is usually what we mean when we talk about decision making in a casual sense. Okay. Here on this show, in this content that you can see on this channel, we talk about pausing. And pausing is this skill, this emotional skill, where we take a second or two to recognize what is going on. And this practice of pausing of just pausing to see what is going on inside and outside, between the insides and the outsides. What is going on? This is intangible. Like right now, I can feel this sort of tension between me and the camera. There is this intangible dynamic happening between my insides and the camera there on the outside. And I can make an intangible decision to sort of have my focus on the camera. I can pause, and even though I'm not looking at the camera, maybe you can sense now that my focus is on the camera, even though I'm not looking at it. It's a sort of intangible decision I'm making, where to place my focus. And I can move my focus to the microphone or to my own body. How it feels in my head. How it feels my hand against the table. And so on. Today's episode is called Intangible Decision Making. And the emotional skill we're talking about today is universal skill creativity. It is universal because it is applicable in every and any situation. Universal skill creativity is about that we, at every given moment, are doing something with what we have. We are always being more or less creative. Always. We're always making decisions. And we are always making intangible decisions. So, today we will talk about what are these intangible decisions and how do they complement the sort of ordinary decisions that we talk about all the time. The sort of material decisions, tangible decisions. How do these two relate to one another? Creativity, intangible decisions. So, in pause, when talking about pausing, we usually talk about 5 different kinds of situations, 5 different kinds of emotional situations, if you will, or 5 different kinds of specific situations. And these kind of situations are intangibles. They are specific as to how it feels to be us whilst in them. So, say that we are talking about our sleep situation. It has to do with everything related to sleep. When we are concerned or thinking about our sleep situation, we can make intangible decisions. We can use our creativity as to what do we want to do about our sleep situation? Or do we want to just leave it as is? We can talk about our acute situation, when something sudden happens that scares us or catches us off guard, and we have to make a split-second decision and make a split-second pause. We also talk about intangible decisions there. What kind of sudden situation is this? What do I want to do emotionally here? Do I want to connect with someone, or do I want to move away? These are intangibles, and they complement the material decisions. The third emotional situation we talk about here at pause is our long-term situation. It has to do with us thinking about our future, making plans for our future, or feeling worried about it, or feeling that there's a sense of urgency to how our future will be. What do we want to do with our creativity? What are the intangibles to how it feels to be us when we worry about our future? Do we even make time for worry? Or do we push away the worry about the future altogether? This is an intangible decision. To spend time with our worry or push it away. Our fourth situation is when we feel confused. And the only thing we know is that there is something we do not know. And this is a very hard one, to be confused, to try to accept that we are losing right now, because there is something we do not know, so we must lose a little bit, at least now. So it's about losing skillfully. To lose skillfully, that is a lot about intangible decisions. The sheer effort to try to lose in such a way that we minimize the damages of our losing. We minimize the consequences, the negative consequences from being confused. Intangibles. What do we want to do creatively with our confusion? Do we want to make use of it? Or do we want to push it away? And finally, our fifth specific situation is called our worn out situation. It is when we feel tired, at a loss, like it is very heavy to take even one more step. And when we feel drained like that, life becomes a lot about intangibles. It's very difficult to do something when it feels so heavy. And it is very intangible. It's hard to put our finger on what it is that feels heavy many of the times. So we have to make some sort of intangible decisions there as well. So I guess it comes down to combining these two, intangible decisions and tangible material decisions. How do we want to combine these? Perhaps it's down to personality. Maybe some people only want to think about the material stuff. And other people want to think a lot about the intangibles, the invisible stuff, how things feel or interact invisibly. And perhaps one of the challenges is, how do we communicate and cooperate with each other? The people more inclined to focus on material decisions, and the people more inclined to think about immaterial decisions. How do we communicate? Do we share the same goals, or do we not? Pausing is intangible. Pausing is immaterial. But it has material consequences. Very much so. Mm. Mm. It's very interesting how these two interact, how the material and the invisible sort of go hand in hand, how they change into one another, how they can be translated into one another, sometimes consciously by our effort, and sometimes it just happens on life's own terms, so to speak. It's very interesting, sometimes mysterious, how those changes come to be. So we pause for a second or two and observe and learn about these changes between material and immaterial. And try to make good use of our creativity, which is universal, ever present. We are always making decisions in some form. That's it for today. Thank you.